So we got two experts here to talk about it. We have Michael Alcazar, and he's a retired NYPD detective for 30 years, and we thank you for your service. And we have Professor at John Jay College, Mary Gethrins. She's also a guardian angels, and we thank you for your volunteer work. Welcome to First Edition.
Thank you for having me.
So
Good
Mary,
morning.
you're a volunteer on the streets of New York City every day. What's happening from your viewpoint?
It's, from what I've seen recently, it's at its worst right now, and it's unfortunate. Even it makes me weary. You know, your safety is compromised, and with the recent assaults on women, with these women getting punched, it's very unfortunate. And I, as a woman, you know, it makes me upset, and we can only do so much. So, you know, sometimes it's a matter of keeping your eyes open on the back of your head. You have to have a 360 view when you're walking in the street. When I go to work, I feel the same. I feel like my safety can be compromised because it's happening to anybody. It seems to be very random, and that's what's scary.
That is scary. And Michael, I'd like to get your take on what pedestrians, especially women, can do when they're walking on the street. I'm going to be going downstairs and going home after work today on the streets of New York. John is too. What should we do to keep ourselves safer in this very perilous circumstance?
Yeah, sadly, gone are the days where you can have your personal devices out in the open, your headsets on. You have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to be aware constantly of criminals that are lurking around the corner. When you go down the subway, when you're walking down the sidewalk, when you're walking at night, walk with somebody. Don't walk alone. Don't be a victim. And I'm not victim blaming, but you know, now you have to be a true New Yorker, which, you know, used to be a thing of the past, but now you got to be super alert. We have a lot of transplanted New Yorkers that come to New York when it was nice and clean, and now it's no longer the case. So you have to be very aware.
You know, Mary, I'm 6'1". I have a large build, bald-headed. Some say, hey, you know, that's a tough guy over there.
Right.
But when I take the subway, walk the streets of New York, like you said, I'm always aware of what's going on around me. And let's face it, these people in the streets don't fight fair.
Right.
Not
They
at all.
attack cops. They do all types of things. So what are some tips, other tips that you could let our viewers know that they should actually start implementing into their own safety protocols?
Well, I myself, as one of the leaders in the Guardian Angels and being a female, my tip is, yes, based towards females, but you know, it can be for the men as well. Whatever you have on you, I mean, we don't suggest using weapons because we train in self-defense techniques. We do offer free training for the women, you know, who feel a bit weary, and you know, that's a start. If you are a woman walking in the street by yourself, coming off the bus or the subway, you have a set of keys on you. Like I always used to do it, you know, before I joined the Guardian Angels. It's a safety tool, you know, and you never kick them where it hurts because they expect that. And it's not going to stop them from chasing you. Your best option is to just be a little bit more attentive. Like the retired officer was saying, you can't walk around with earbuds. You can't be oblivious to your surroundings. The best thing you could do is just be extra attentive, even if you're in your own neighborhood, because things are happening so random. You just have to be extremely more self-aware.
Boy, that is such good advice, and I follow it myself when I'm walking home. I look behind myself often, something most people probably don't do in other cities, but in New York you definitely have to. And Michael, beyond being circumspect, I liked it when you said put your head on a swivel. That's really, really smart. What should New York politicians be doing to solve this problem?
Well, I don't know if they're going to do it, but bail reform is a failed experiment. It's emboldened the criminal population, right? Criminals don't think they get away with things. They do get away with things, right? These people, these perpetrators that were arrested for assaulting these women, they were out the same day, right? Police officers are doing the job. They're making the arrests. But the politicians, the judges, they're not keeping him in jail. They're not prosecuting them. And again, what does that say to the criminals when they get released? They tell their friends, hey, I just got arrested for clocking some lady and I'm out today. So what does that tell the criminals? Hey, we can get away with anything. So everything is working for the criminals and not so much for the police officers. So definitely got to change that.
You know, Mary, well, you actually experience a lot in New York City,
Yes.
especially in the streets and subway system. You know, a de-escalation tactic that I always use. Let's say if someone bumps into me, I'm the one that said I say sorry to the individual, just to make sure that
Good policy.
nothing gets out of hand. Are there any other de-escalation techniques that even you would use if you see someone else bothering an innocent person? You know, you want to, protect people, but at the same time, you want to protect but also de-escalate.
Right. The best thing you could do is come at them with compassion. Do the opposite of what you see them doing. If they seem to be angry, appear to be cursing and yelling, you want to do the opposite. You want to give them compassion, regardless of the incident and whether or not they're the perpetrator. Kill them with kindness, because it kind of shocks them into, oh my goodness. It might make them think twice, and sometimes that does work.
Wow, that's
Awesome.
very interesting. Do you patrol the subways like other guardian angels? Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yes. Well, we do the subways and street patrols in the surrounding area. We definitely do that a lot. Myself, I have 2 jobs, and I do that up to 3 or 4 times a week. On the Upper West Side, the Upper East Side, Brooklyn, Queens. I go wherever we feel like we need to bring in a patrol on the subways, all subway lines, of course.
You know, Michael, just this morning on my way here, there was a man, I don't know if he was high or drunk, but he was arguing with police officers. It was getting very aggressive. And I'm saying to myself, wow, these people are so bold that they're now more aggressive toward police officers, even to the point of using mace, physically attacking police officers. How can we actually show more support for our law enforcement? And because let's face it, I'm happy when I see you in the subway and on the street, Michael.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, police officers need the support right now. Morale is low with the recent death of Officer Diller. So just thank a police officer when you see them. Tell them you're glad that they're in the subway, because they are there protecting you, putting their lives in danger. They're doing their best despite what's going on with the administration, with the politicians. So I feel like we really need to bring back broken windows theory. We need to address small violations before they fester into bigger crimes. You know, we have to make bad guys feel uncomfortable. We have to bring back plainclothes police officers. They shouldn't just be looking for uniformed police officers. They shouldn't be looking for the police officers in the tan pants. We have to keep them guessing. Is that guy a police officer? Maybe I shouldn't do it right now because maybe there's an undercover. It's a valuable tool that we have to bring back, and it's necessary. And with summer coming just around the corner, I hate to be Kreskin and predict more crime, but I believe that's the way we're going. Summer is coming.
Boy, that's scary. Well, Mayor Eric Adams got headlines the other day when he said, New York, still safest city in America. Your take, Mary?
We're out there in the streets all the time. I do think that growing up in the city all my life for 52 years, I've seen it at its worst, at its best, at its quiet time, and in my opinion, it's at its worst right now. And we need to support our NYPD officers in trying to keep the city streets safe. It's bad out there right now.
Michael, what are you hearing from your former colleagues? And many of them are retired as well. And I'm quite sure they're hearing a lot of stories anecdotally. What are you hearing from the men and women in blue?
I think most of them are frustrated, right? They're doing their best. They're making arrests. And then, of course, add insult to injury, the people they lock up are released that day. I think there's a little bit of confusion in the rank and file because there's too many chiefs, not enough police officers. We don't know where the leadership is coming from. We see commissioners talking. We see chiefs talking. We see Eric Adams talking. Ironically, we never see the actual police commissioner talking. So we don't know who the leaders are. It's a little bit confusing for police officers right now in New York City.
I'd like to hear both of you comment on what you think the huge influx of migrants has been on crime in New York. Let's start with you, Michael.
I think it's out of control. We haven't vetted these people, these illegal immigrants coming into the cities, to New York. We're providing shelter for them. We're providing monies for them. We have a lot of veterans that need support, that need services. We have our homeless population that's not getting the help they need. We have our emotional disturbed population that also is not getting their help. And and now with congestion pricing, they're just taxing New Yorkers to pay for people that aren't even citizens that need our help. We need to take care of ourselves first. And these migrants are, we lock them up. They assault police officers. We lock them up. They release them. And what do? They leave New York and they travel all over the nation. We can't keep tabs on them. We don't know where they're going. We don't know their history. We don't know their criminal history. Not all migrants are bad people, but there's definitely an element there of criminality that's coming into the country.
Wow.
Mary, we're running out of time. One sentence to add to that?
I totally agree. The cities should take care of its citizens. We welcome the migrants, obviously, but it's just, it's hit and miss. I have to agree with the retired officer.
Michael Alcazar and Mary Gethrins, terrific conversation, right, John?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.